new adventure. There you go. It's like you've never been away.
Right, I'm off to Morocco. Okay then, so here we go again. It is, what day is it today, man? Monday the 3rd of April. So I've been back from Ireland now for a couple of weeks. An absolutely fantastic trip, definitely well worth doing. The west coast of Ireland is absolutely stunning, and I would recommend it to anybody for a trip. It's well worthwhile, especially the south-west coast. Cork around, probably up as far as Galway, is basically non-stop spectacular. The north is worth doing as well. Doesn't quite have the visual impact of the southwest, and even across Northern Ireland and back around the sort of north-east coast, that was also fantastic riding, much flatter, but right on the coast, fantastic coast roads, just absolutely brilliant. But anyway, so I popped back and realised a couple of days after I got back that my MOT was almost expired. In fact, I think it had expired the day after I got back, so I couldn't ride the bike again until I booked it in for the MOT. Obviously you're allowed to ride it up for a pre-booked MOT, that's okay, so that's what I did. And I got them to take a look at the engine light problem, which as you can see is still on. So they took a look at that for me, and it turns out that that is either an O2 sensor or the O2 sensors, I'm not sure which, but essentially governs how much air I think goes into the fuel injection, is my understanding. So not dissimilar to how a carburetor works, but the O2 sensor will determine the airflow, and that wasn't working properly, hence why it was running up and down at idle, and started to go in and out as I was riding as well on the way back the other day. So I'm headed back up to Ducati Ultra this morning, and we'll get them to sort that out. Not the cheapest job I'll ever have done. I think it's about 650 quid, unfortunately, which is a little bit of a sting, to say the least, but it does need to be done because I'm off to Morocco next, and that's when will that be? 24th, so 3 weeks today. So I've got 3 weeks to make sure the bike's in tip-top condition before heading down to Morocco again and doing that ride. So the Wild Atlantic Way, an absolutely brilliant week. I don't have much footage of the last couple of days, so coming out of Portrush and heading back down to Dublin, all along that north-eastern coast road. Well, I've got the footage, I just don't have any commentary. I had a few problems with the cameras and with the microphone as well, so it's a bit of an instrumental version, that one. But gives you an idea of how nice that road is anyway. And then the ride back, left Dublin early the following morning, got the ferry across to Holyhead, and I rode back through northern Wales. It's a really shitty day, cold and wet. Wasn't the most enjoyable ride home, so I did the Snowdonia National Park, and after that it was a case of get the wet weather gear on, get on the motorway and get back. I also had a problem with my gloves for the last couple of days, weren't heating properly. These Gerbing gloves are not the best I've ever had. They started off badly by not being that waterproof, and now the heat element's playing up as well. So I got myself some Keys liners the other day, and I've got them on now, first ride out with them. They seem to be okay. It does make the glove rather bulky, but probably only got to get me through another month. In fact, probably won't need them from Morocco, almost certainly won't need them from Morocco. I'm about to take them just in case I have similar problems that I had last year, or no, year before, 3 years ago probably now, where it snowed coming back through Spain. I didn't have any heated gear with me, and I was absolutely frozen. I had to pull into every other petrol station to try and warm my hands up. warming your hands up, freezing them down again, warm them up, freeze them down again. It's extremely unpleasant. So I'll take them just to be on the safe side. They're very light, very small. I've already got the plug-ins on the bike, so not too much of a drama. So that was Ireland. And the next trip now is, as I said, Morocco. So I'm doing a slightly different one this time. When I went to Morocco last time, I rode down through France, Spain, and then got the ferry. I was supposed to get the ferry from Tarifa, but because of the bad weather, that ferry was cancelled, so I had to ride back round to Algeciras, which is only a little bit up the coast. I think it's like 20 miles away, maybe 30 miles away. I was going to have to go over a very windy mountain to get there. But I've booked to go for Algeciras this time, so I've got a ferry booked. But my plan is actually a slightly different trip. I'm going to get the ferry from Portsmouth again, but down to Santander, and basically miss out northern France, or all of France actually. Now it does mean I miss the Pyrenees, but a lot of northern France is a bit dull, especially if you're going somewhere as fantastic as Morocco afterwards. So I'm not too bothered about missing out. I've also got another trip coming up in July with a few friends, and we're going down through France, through the Alps, and then around through the Pyrenees, all the way down to Gibraltar. So I don't feel the need to do it twice. I've done it loads of times before anyway, so not really missing out on anything there. So yeah, get the ferry. Plan is to get the ferry Monday the 24th of April. I'll go and drop the dog off in the morning. Then Monday 24th of April, get the, I think it's a 9:30 ferry out from Portsmouth. Oops, Mr. Gear. And that arrives in Santander at 8 AM I think it is, Wednesday morning. So I then got a ride from Santander down to Algeciras that evening. So I reckon that's a good 11-12 hours of riding. I don't know, can't think off the top of my head how far it is, but I should be able to do that, no problem. And then I've got, I think it's 9 days around Morocco. So overnight in Algeciras, get the ferry the next morning, Algeciras, Tangier Med. That'll get me in on Thursday morning, and then I ride around and leave again on Friday morning. So eight days actually, yeah, not 9 days, 8 days. And the plan is to run down, almost the coast road down to Casablanca. I'm actually going inland across the mountains, found a couple of nice roads to run, and I'm making my way across the east coast, obviously, only being an east coast, or north coast I suppose it is as well. Across the east coast and probably stay in, I think, Casablanca, maybe first night. So I'll probably head across to Rabat, down to Casablanca, overnight in Casablanca. Next day I'm going to ride down to, I think I'm planning on going to Aswaria, again on the coast, so if the weather's nice that should be a lovely ride. Only doing, I think, 250 miles. I think I'm doing about 250 miles a day, roughly, give or take. And then from Aswaria I'm going to head down and join the bottom of the Tizian Test and ride that northwards up to Morocco. I have the Tizian Test before, my last trip. Absolutely fantastic road. I rode it from north to south last time. I stayed in Marrakesh for a week and then I headed off after that when my wife went home. And I went south and then round and back up again. So this time I'm going to do it. So yeah, this time ride down a different direction, go from south to north. I'm going to cut across a couple of little bits. That ride around from Aswaria, I've been trying to work out a route that's a bit more interesting, and I think I found one. Although I'm slightly concerned that the road seems to run out and it turns into a footpath at some point. Not for very far, as far as I can see. It's, I don't know, it looks like it might be a few miles max. Oh, it doesn't look like much on the map, but but the road does seem to run out. So on my sat nav on my phone, it says it's a route that you can do, but on Google Maps it says it isn't. It says you get up to one point and it starts again the other side, and I think it said it's a walking route. So I mean, there is a track there, quite a decent sized track. Looks like there's possibly some snow tunnels. I don't know if that's what they are. I don't know if there'll still be snow there in late April. I suppose there might be. But head over there, up to the Tizzy and Jess, and then they're going to overnight in Marrakesh, there or thereabouts. And then I'm going to head south out of Marrakesh again and round to Ouarzazate before turning and heading north. And I picked out some fantastic roads heading up, so I'm going to take, I think it's about 3 days to go from Ouarzazate to Fez. I have done that in a day before. I'm going to go a different route this time, but I have done that ride in a day. But I'm going to take 3 days and add a couple of different loops in and basically try and get the most out of Morocco I can. Probably wasn't brave enough last time I went and aired on the side of definite roads. I mean, it was a fantastic ride. I particularly remember the Gorge de Dardes and the N8 running north after Fez, particularly spectacular, great fun to ride. Really like big A roads more than anything else. But I didn't really do much dirt. I did some accidental dirt, but I didn't do much deliberate dirt. I only had road tyres on. I'm going with the Midas MT-07s on this time, which I also had on to go around Ireland, which is probably a bit overkill, but some of the roads were very gravelly and I'm sure that helped me out a little bit. But anyway, do a lot more dirt on this one. I'm going to try and travel a little bit lighter. I'm going to hotel it, or you know, B&B as much as I can. Some of them are very cheap, like 25 quid a night, 30 quid a night. I'll take my own sleeping bag and sleeping mat just in case they're a bit dodgy, but I don't think I'm going to bother taking the tent. Travel a bit lighter, so I can get a little bit more dirt riding in. That's the plan anyway. And then from Fez up around on the N8 again, I think, up through Chefchaouen. Going to stop at, I can't remember what the name of the place is on the coast, on the Thursday night, and then just do a very short dash back to Tangier Med on the Friday morning. I think I've got about an 11 o'clock ferry, and then I'm going to ride over to Faro, get to Faro in the evening and meet up with the missus. We had originally planned to go and do some surfing, but I'm not sure if we're going to do that or not, but get a little bit of sunshine anyway after that ride around Morocco. And then I think we're there for 2 or 3 days, 3 days, and then I'll take a couple of days riding the scenic routes back up to Santander for the ferry on the Wednesday, which I think is the 10th. And that actually gets back the evening of the 11th. So a decent trip. Really looking forward to that. Looking forward to riding in just jeans and a jacket. I have to have all this cold weather gear on. We've got cold weather gear on again today. It's a little bit warmer today. What's the temperature? Probably about 9, 8. There we go. But still got the heated glove liners on, heated boot liners on. But it'd be nice to be out and it'd be 20 plus degrees and some summer gloves. Not all this bulky winter gear. It'll be a real relief to be back to some lighter bike clothing. So looking forward to that. So that's the next trip, Morocco in 3 weeks. But I hope you enjoyed the Ireland trip. I got my drone back the other day, that's all working. Should be able to get some fantastic drone footage in Morocco. The scenery is spectacular, although a lot of it's desert, so hopefully it will turn out okay. Lovely night skies, starry nights. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the Ireland trip and Ireland footage. Hopefully it'll be even better for the Morocco trip. It's a 3-week trip, so I should get a few decent episodes out of that. and then get back from that on the, what did I say, April, so 10th or 11th of May. And then I think the next trip after that is Gibraltar with Sparky Steve and a couple of other fellas. Spread his mum's acid, but I'll talk about that in Series 3. So, that's me, over and out.